Pinkerton avocado. You see the Pinkerton has a longer neck, and otherwise it's kind of similar to a Haas. Has the pebbly skin and real similar eating qualities, similar picking period. Here's some more. But I really like this elongated look. It's just kind of sexy, you know? And I like sexy. Who doesn't like sexy? I think everybody likes sexy. But it's a beautiful shape. And here's a pair. There's a pair hanging low. Yeah, look at that. Donk, 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 donk. I could put these in the back of my truck and just let them dangle. That way people can see my beautiful avocados. Yeah, so I'm up here at the ranch. This video is a little bit about Pinkerton, but mainly it's about how it's probably a better thing. Don't you hate when you do that? Look, I just hate it when I get dirt out of my shoes. I do that for you though. Fix that later. But this video is about establishing avocados. The best thing to do when you're doing a video is to make sure that your shadow is what you're trying to shoot. Rule number one, don't put your shadow where you're shooting. This video is more about how it's probably better to have these trees start out as low bushes versus, here's a tree that we're sort of forcing. And look what I'm doing now too. I'm just, if I have like a cool reed avocado seed or whatever, some cool variety, I'm just shoving them in the ground. And, you know, whatever comes up. It's going to be harder than what's here. And I'll be able to graft on it or let it grow or see if it produces some cool fruit. But anyway, look at this one here. Like, this is probably what we had this tree. I'm not sure, like, even why we put this one here. I think this is a Pinkerton as well. And here's Kona. Hey, Kona, how you doing? You like avocados? But you see, we're forcing this tree into this tall structure. And, you know, it's windy here. It's difficult, everything else. And I think it's better to start with these smaller trees and then let them decide how they want to grow and respond to the wind. You know, we sell these trees staked up. We have some that aren't tall, that are bushy. In fact, I have growing some that are low and bushy. I'm afraid to bring them to the nursery because people are going to be like, well, it's not a tree, it's a bush. But really, this is the best way to do it. Supposing you don't have deer. If you want to have deer, you want them to get tall right away, get above the deer. If you don't have deer, this is how the plant wants to grow. It wants to keep its foliage low, cover the whole trunk so the trunk doesn't get sunburned. And we haven't trimmed this. This is just what it's doing here because it's so windy and exposed. Look how exposed it is here. I mean, it's exposed. Super high sunlight. And left to their own devices, this is what the trees are going to do. So it's something to think about, is to not be afraid to start out with a short tree and then let it decide what it's going to do. This is going to be crazy. Look, I've put seeds all over the place. One right there. And we'll have all kinds of new varieties coming up. Hard to say whether they'll be good or bad, but they're all starting from really good parents. So the theory is they have really good genetics. But after watching this place, and also look at this tree. This was a big staked little avocado tree. And it struggled and had problems, and the whole main stalk died. And I cut it back. It was a singular tree on a stake, humans forcing it to where it didn't want to go. And then what did it do? It died down. And we can look in here and see what happened. It then sprouted back. Look. Yeah. Oh, wait. You can see it on the other side. Good point. Good point coming up. 4-wheel drive up here. And look in here, look. Case in point. Here's where it died. See that? Right there. Oh. See that? Right there. Right there. And then didn't want to be a big tall tree. And then what happened? Look what happened. It sprouted up at the bottom. Still above the graft point, so we still have our good tree. And it started all over. Now it's setting the rules. We have a little stake here. I guess my guy staked it up a little bit. But really, it's going to be low and strong bush form. And that's kind of how this one's developing too. This was on a stake. It didn't die down, did great right off the bat. Now I'm wondering if it's gonna get too big. That's a dwarf. And of course there was one over here and it just flat out died. Gotta admit it when I fail. But so you never know, like what happened. Avocados are extremely schizophrenic. They'll do different things. In this instance, I was trying to hide the barn, right there. Hide the barn. 1 tree, 2 tree, 3 tree, hide barn. And what happened? Well, the one in the middle, probably the most important, took off as intended. Then the second little piggy, he decided to give me a scare and die down to almost nothing, and then totally come back, and he's rocking and rolling again. He'll catch up to Papa Bear. And then you had a little baby bear who said, I'm out. So it protested, it's gone. So anyway, staking trees, maybe you should stake them just enough to kind of do the minimal amount, but I really wouldn't train these particular avocado trees in really windy, high sunlight areas and force them to deal with unnatural elongation and conditions, because all of a sudden if the stake fails, the whole tree's going to fail because it's relying on the stake. So that's it. That's the lesson of today.